Also, like I think is a big giver of juice. That's an awful sentence.
Yeah, we'll roll with it.
It's a big teat which squirts out the juice into our eyes.
Welcome to Bley's Arcade.
Hey, the hell and a ring around the collar. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bley's Arcade. My name is Bley. My full legal name is Aaron Scott Bleyaert. I bet you didn't know that, did you, Gruss?
We're giving that out?
With me, as always, Andrew. The juice is loose, Gruss. I got to come up with some other...
Back. Okay.
Gruss, he's on Gruss control.
I like that one.
Right?
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We're talking about something really, really interesting and different today. And it starts with, I am currently in the process of making my own video game. And it's going to be a long, arduous process. I'm under no illusions of that. But I love games. I love playing video games. I love thinking about them. I love game lore. I think some of the most exciting storytelling that's happening right now in entertainment is happening in indie games. There's one specific shout out I want to give. There's a game called Mixtape, which is basically like an interactive movie. It's really cool. Everybody check it out. And there's one thing, as I've been researching making this new game, I came upon this phrase, which is called game juice or game feel. And it was originally created in originally coined in an article, a Game Sutra article called How to Prototype a Game in 7 Days. But it was made popular in this talk called Juice It or Lose It. So it's a video on YouTube called Juice It or Lose It. That was these two guys gave this talk at GDC talking about game juice. And what game juice is and stay with me here. What game juice is all the little bells and whistles that make a game fun to play. So, when you're running in a game, a little cloud of dust, or if you're walking in a game, the camera bobs, or if you get punched or shot, the camera shakes. Camera shake. The coin, the gold coin sound in Super Mario when you hit a block. This is all game juice or game feel. And it's what makes a game really fun. And I was thinking, it's interesting when we think about movies and TV, and especially TV shows. When you're watching a TV show, you're with these characters for many, many, many hours. And, some of the shows I think could use a little game juice, could use a little juice to juice them up. So today, what we're talking about is, what can we do to upscale or juice our favorite shows?
And so there's a little bit of like ASMRing with game juice, and like it's the feeling you get with these added extra elements. So if I'm playing Madden or college football, it's the people in the stands waving the college flag, or like,
and it's also the controller vibrating when you get hit.
And like a special dance after a touchdown, things like that.
All these things, these bells and whistles add to this juice, adds to the game. And actually, sports is a really good example, because I think sports do juice the best. When you're watching football, an example of juice in a show or in a program you're watching, when you're watching football, how they have on the field, they'll do like 3 yards to a first down. They'll put that arrow, or they'll do things like have stats of a character, and the guy, he always does that thing where like the quarterback, it's like, well, Tom Brady threw for, and then they show him, and he's like doing that awkward like turn around and smile to camera. That stuff, sports does juice the best, which makes sense because watching sports is the closest you can get to playing a game.
And it's the juice. It's not affecting the actual content or the game. It's all extra stuff that enhances the broadcast.
It's the frosting. So today we are coming up with juice for our favorite shows. Give us a call, 855-266-2604, or leave us a message on YouTube, on Team Coco's YouTube page, about what juice you want to see in your shows. And I'm going to give you some examples of juice that are happening right now. The Bear is a great example.
Yes.
Okay. The Bear, very famous for, a lot of quick cuts, a lot of chopping on the beat of their needle drops, a lot of people arguing with each other, and this building of tension through editing and conversation. That's juice. You don't need to have that in The Bear. To tell those stories, you don't need to have that kind of editing, those kinds of close-up shots. Another great example, Hot Ones. Hot Ones is dripping with juice. Hot Ones is dripping with juice. Like when they show, they'll do a new hot sauce and they're like, the Scoville level, and they cut to that and it goes off the charts. And it's like, that whole thing. That is juice.
Going back to The Bear, the tightness or closeness of the kitchen, and they're turning corners. And now you're in the bakery dessert part.
That's
and now
right.
you're turned into the walk-in fridge.
Right.
And now you're at the beef window. So
also I think sound design is a big giver of juice. That's an awful sentence.
Yeah, we'll roll with it.
It's a big teat which squirts out the juice into our eyes.
I mean, if you're going to talk like
ears.
Sound, and I go back to Taylor Sheridan, and one of the things
Of course you do.
One of the things I think
I could put that phrase
I'll work my way
in any episode we do.
I go back
to Taylor Sheridan.
To Landman, and one of the things I think that show does really, really well is, of course, Billy Bob's on a lot of long drives. And when he's not being berated by Allie Larder, his wife, you're hearing local radio.
Exactly, dude. That is a perfect example of juice in a show, is local radio, because really it sucks you into the world and it adds to the experience of watching that show.
And they're giving weather. So, it's 95 degrees, hot as a whatever, no rain, crops are dried out.
Yes.
Or you're getting news from Midland, Texas being dropped in there. And then additionally, the added even more juice, I would say, is the songs that they then throw to, that the DJs go to, are like red dirt country, perfect, like
boot and scoot and boogie.
It's awesome. So I think
BEERUN beer run. Come on, man! I can pull this stuff out.
Why aren't you designing this the sound for that show?
Call me, Landman. I'm here for you. Great example of juice. Also, it's interesting. Juice can also be taking something away. So, like in The Last of Us, a lot of times they won't have any music, and that, my friend, is scary.
Right. So
when they take stuff away, that's horrifying because you're just waiting for something to happen.
Well, and with Last of Us in the last season, I think when they went into one of the warehouses and it gets silent and all you hear is this like scratching.
Yes.
And the characters are looking around, but it's completely silent.
Yes.
During it, and it's just like you're there.
Yeah, the clicking. Terrible. One more example I want to give is Spider Noir. Being able to watch it in color or being able to watch it in black and white, great example of juice. I'm watching Spider Noir in black and white, and it just adds so much to the flavor of the show.
Spider Noir, it's on Prime?
It is on Prime, yes.
The juice of this show is the black and white version of it.
That's an example, of great juice. It's like they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to give us the option to watch in color or black and white.
Dumb question, but that is an example of taking something away. You literally take the color away.
Sure.
How does that add to? Does it add like an mystery or intrigue?
Yes. It again, juice is all about adding to the experience. Okay, adding to the overall experience in games, game feel, game juice, adding to the experience of putting you in the world of the game, making it fun to move around, making it fun to play the game. Same thing with TV and movies. It makes it more fun. It pulls you more into the world.
Okay.
And so my first example today of how I want to upscale a show, how I want to add some juice to a show, is Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And this counts for every property. Counts for Night of the Seven Kingdoms, House of the Dragon, the original Game of Thrones. I think a bit of juice that would make this show even better would be, much like the option to watch Spider Noir in color or black and white, I think you should be able to choose the soundtrack, which they have, which is like symphonic, cinematic, or death metal. I think you should be able to watch heavy metal in the soundtrack. Dude, can you fucking imagine a dragon fight? That would be so epic, dude.
It does make perfect sense in the Battle of the Gullet, which this new season, to have death metal playing throughout that.
Hell yeah. Dude, oh my God, a dragon just torching just people, screaming, running, just. And by the way, I will say, this is why I love YouTube, and I love being a fan of stuff so much, and I love other fans. And a lot of times people do fan edits, and man, people have done, I'm sure there's fan edits out there where they've put heavy metal on Game of Thrones scenes, and it would absolutely rip.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm going with the two things I would do to improve the Game of Thrones franchise.
Yeah.
First one, and my algorithm is filled with this, is I need up to the minute lineage updates of the characters.
Yes.
So somehow,
by the way, that's not even juice. That just feels like a necessity.
we
need family trees, dude.
Yeah, and granted, the family trees are messy on this show, and that's part of it. But
a lot of incest.
Yes, very stark incest scene on episode 2 of
Starks,
this.
I think, are the ones who maybe the only house that didn't have sex with each other.
But I need kind of up to the minute, because I think one of the criticisms that I might agree with is that there are so many characters in this show.
Yes.
And they've got names that are not modern time
names. And they're
all
kind of the same, like Rhaena, Rhaegar, Aena,
Aegon, Aemon, Darnell. Yeah, it's crazy. So I could use...
And also... sorry, go ahead.
I could just use a lineage breakdown of here's next in line.
Yes.
Here's where the Targaryens are. Here's Valyria. All that sort of stuff could help make it a little bit clearer to me, as I am kind of continually lost at okay, whose child is this, and where are they in the line of the throne?
Yeah. I mean, who are their parents? Is it this guy? And the other thing too is, so I started watching House of the Dragon. I haven't seen any other season. I've just started this season.
Okay.
It's great. By the way, I will watch Matt Smith in anything. Loved him in Doctor Who. He was great in Morbius.
Yes.
Dude, he's great in everything. And he's great in House of the Dragon. But I will say, to your point, I can't tell if, when they say a name, if it's a person, if it's a dragon, or if it's a town. I honestly can't tell.
I think you are not alone in that.
I'm gonna go meet Aemon. I'm going to go meet Aemon, who's riding Aemon in Aemon. I'm like, what are you doing? This is insane. It's craziness.
Yeah, I'm going to the Vale. Yeah.
I'm going to the,
What is that?
What are you talking about? So, I agree, dude. I think, here's what I think they should do. Taking a page from video games, they should add a little juice to Game of Thrones, where when you pause the show, it just brings up a family tree.
Right. Does it, Amazon has something like X?
They do the X-ray thing.
I need that.
But it sucks, though. It sucks. It's not great. The X-ray thing will kind of show you the actors who are in the scene and the characters, and they need to step it up. The X-ray, I will say, is a good idea. I would like to see them add to it, especially with Game of Thrones.
Now I need an additional picture-in-picture box for Game of Thrones with the map of where they are.
Right. That's also impossible.
That's something where I need to know where all the main families are. Are they in Winterfell?
Yeah.
Where are the Riverlands?
Yes.
Where's Dorne? Who's where? I need more info to really understand the breadth of what's going on.
And I think it would really add to the epicness of the show. I mean, that's the thing. It's I think.
And that's the difference, where A Night of the Seven Kingdoms was very small. It all took place at a jousting tournament.
Yeah.
And so you don't need that giant you're not building a world like you did with The Song of Fire and Ice and you are with House of the Dragon. That was a very small story. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the second season. But I'm also loving House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
It's just, there was one kind of dialogue between Matt Stone and Rhaenyra in
Is that a dragon, or is that a town or two towns talking to each other?
The queen on the throne.
Yeah.
But Matt Stone's character,
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Damon. Demon
Targaryen.
Demon Targaryen.
He mentions like 5 or 6 different lands that he wants Rhaenyra to conquer.
Right.
And I'm just like, I have no idea where these are.
Talking about,
like, show me where this stuff exists. And because you've built out this amazing world, I need more info.
Yes.
And I just need it like stationary, picture in picture. Give it to me on the bottom.
Yeah.
And like, show me where Vermithor is or whatever.
Is that a real place?
I think it's a dragon.
This is my point. 100%. I think, information only helps if it has consequence. And I think if you're throwing in so much information without telling us, without context, then it has no consequence.
And it's also the consequence. We've talked about it in past episodes where you're now going 2 to 3 years between.
Oh, right. Don't even get
seasons,
started with that.
And that's where, because we are blessed in this world of content. I mean, I've got like 8 or 9 different shows that I want to watch, and I'm Sunday nights, I'm watching Game of Thrones. I'm watching The Agency during the week, but like, I'm really excited to get back into Silo.
Yes.
It just came back, but like, it's been a couple years. I need to know what's going on to fully understand the storyline. And like, when you have stuff that takes place 2 or 3 years between seasons with the amount of content we have, it just gets lost.
The biggest juice should be just make shows come out every year.
Right.
That's the biggest way to improve every show, I think, where we're at. But yeah, man, I mean, Game of Thrones, again, I totally agree. I actually read the first 2.5 books and stopped for the exact reason we're talking about. I didn't understand the lineage. I didn't understand. It was too many characters to keep track of. And by the way, Lord of the Rings, which is like kind of the godfather of all fantasy, right? Like J.R.R. Tolkien invented basically the fantasy genre in many ways. Many people don't realize, who haven't read the 3 books, the first 3 books, is this 3rd book, Return of the King. The second half of that book is all talking about the lineage of the characters. It literally, the story, and I was shocked that this happened, the story ends halfway through the book. And the rest of it is just talking about, and this is how, and Malachor and all this stuff. And it was cool. But I mean, to your point, the lineage, when you're talking about these big epic things.
And you're fighting for the throne.
It's important,
right.
Yes. Yeah. And also, by the way, that's true with mafia movies too. It's like, you need to know, in Goodfellas, like, you need to know Robert De Niro's character, he is the way he is because he'll never be a made man. So you need to know why he's not a made man and who is a made man. Sopranos, great example. If somebody dies, it only matters because of their relationship to other characters.
Right.
Adriana, it only matters if she's going to die or not because we know who she is to Christopher, who she is to Tony, and how she operates in the larger world. So, yeah, it's that stuff is really important. So, yeah, I think adding like a little piece of juice, a little drop of juice for Game of Thrones would be pause the screen so we could see and show that family tree and the lineage. And then also show us the map.
Right.
Show us the map where if we pause,
like they're at
show us the map. Yeah.
Where's that in relation to Rook's Nest or whatever?
By the way, that was a great question. I didn't know why everybody loved Harrenhal. Like, why does everybody fight over Harrenhal? It has to be like an important trade route or something, or a port.
I think it's on the way to Winterfell.
Yeah, but like, who gives a shit? We don't even know.
It's also a destroyed castle.
Right. So what? Yeah, exactly.
And it's haunted.
And it's,
yeah.
So, but also, can I just say, putting some death metal in Game of Thrones would be awesome. Absolutely awesome. So talking about juice, well, one of my favorite shows and one of everybody's favorite shows, it got 19 Emmy nominations, is Widow's Bay. Matthew Rhys is brilliant as Tom Loftus, the mayor of a cursed seaside town that he is trying to make the new Martha's Vineyard, trying to make it a tourist stop. And it is just full of crazy lore and creatures and all this other stuff. And Katie O'Flynn, by the way, who plays Patricia, his kind of right-hand woman, she's so neurotic and a nerd and a goofball. Maybe my favorite character in the last 5 years of anything. I mean, she's so good. And Stephen Root, of course, who's amazing as Wick, and he's amazing in everything. Also got to give a shout out to Dale Dickey, who plays Rosemary, who also got an Emmy nomination. Great. This is a minor spoiler, but there's a great scene where Patricia has been she throws this big party, and it turns out instead of wearing a tiara, she's been wearing this cursed headdress. And she's like, turns to Rosemary and goes, "Why didn't you say anything?" And Rosemary's like, "You told me to be supportive." It's just great. Anyway, Widow's Bay, one of my favorite shows, and I just love comedy and horror. And I think a little bit of juice that this show could use, talking about context and talking about lore, is I would just love to see, like a news ticker at the bottom, or maybe that's too distracting, or like start or end the episode with some stuff that's happened on the island before we see it.
Okay.
Because every time they allude to lore in the show, it's so kind of a glancing blow, and it's so interesting. And a lot of people, it was kind of a meme in the season finale. Matthew Rhys's character is sitting with this old woman, I can't remember her name, who's so great. I think her name is Ruth on the show. She's a fantastic actress. She's like 93 in real life. And she's kind of going through her old photos and talking about all her old lovers and boyfriends. And there's this throwaway line. She goes, oh yes, Nicholas, I remember him. He got bit by an animal and then turned into that animal, and then just keeps going. And you're like, what? Wait, what? He got bit by an animal and then turned into that animal? Tell me more about that. So I think some juice that would make Widow's Bay better is some lore about the show, either kind of ending with a mini Ken Burns documentary every episode, like 30 seconds on like a news story that happened, or starting the show. Something like that I think would be really, really cool. We do get a little bit of that juice in the season premiere when they go into the kind of town museum, and you see, this reporter is asking Matthew Rhys's character, like, "Hey, I heard there is what about the stories about cannibalism?" He goes, "Oh, there's no cannibalism." And then they widen out to see they're standing in front of a giant blown up front page paper that says "Cannibalism in Widow's Bay." So stuff like that. I think that I'd like to see a little more juice of some historical stuff in Widow's Bay.
All right, that's fascinating, because now my mind jumps to two shows that I've got kind of mixed feelings on, in the sense that I think the storyline is there. I think I want to love these two shows.
Okay.
I'm not quite there yet. And that would be Severance and Pluribus.
Right. Now, Severance, I will say Severance already has a lot of juice, because if we're talking about like...
but there's so much... It's got a lot of juice.
Because, and I would say one of the examples of juice, sorry to interrupt, one of the examples of juice in Severance is the color palette, the symmetry of the shots. Ben Stiller, genius director, and just the way he frames the shots adds so much to that show and really bring you into that world.
And it's and maybe it's all by design, but I feel we're 2 seasons in? 2 seasons in. Once again, there's been a large gap between the 2 seasons.
I didn't see season 2.
But I still don't really know what's going on. And so I don't have enough background.
Right.
I'm at the tipping point where I feel like I don't know enough to like want to continue with it. But like I recognize it's really good.
Right.
And so that's the part of it's frustrating me. And maybe it's just like all kudos to Ben Stiller for creating that type of feeling in me watching the show. But I'm like, there's more, like, give me more.
So the juice you want is just explanation.
I need more explanation. Like, it's such a fascinating concept.
Just tell me what the fuck's going on.
I need, and whether it's like, maybe that's ultimately like progression of the storyline, so it's not really juice, but there's something,
juice.
It's something there that I want more from this show.
I wouldn't call it juice, but I will say, we talked about Lost last week, and Lost, for all of its flaws, right? It it did do a good job of keeping people hooked. It didn't do a great job of explaining things eventually, but it did do a good job of riding that line. Because look, I mean, and we've talked about this before on this show, like mysteries are hard. Mysteries are hard because you want the show to be exciting. So you don't want to tell people too much, right? Because you want it to be mysterious. But also, you don't want the audience to get ahead of the story because they're like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. But also, you got to give them something so they keep coming back, and you got to give them a little, And yeah, I think that Severance doesn't, it's the balance is off. I see it falling into the lost trap of we just put a bunch of weird shit in there. And, like the whole thing in the first season with the weird lambs. And they had some fun lore of like this department fought this department. Like there's cool stuff, but it's just, for me, I didn't need to see another season of it. And I watched the season premiere of season 2 and I know everyone says it's really great, but when they lost me when they chose to go back in. I was like, I'm out for this because you spend an entire season trying to get out and you get out and then you're like, why would you ever go back in? And same thing, by the way, with The Bear. The Bear lost me too. I got really angry. First season of The Bear, fantastic. And they're just trying to make this restaurant work. They're trying to make it work. And then a big thing happens at the end of season 1 where all of a sudden they have the ability to make this great restaurant. Season premiere of season 2, well, none of that mattered. We're still, the restaurant's in the shitter. And now they're taking 9 steps back. And I'm like, no, I'm out for this. I wanted to see them win. I know they eventually win, but I was like, no. No, I want to see them. I've spent an entire season with these guys. I want to see them. And yeah, they lost me. And so, yeah, Severance lost me too. How would you upscale Severance other than explaining more?
I mean, that's the thing. It's shot beautifully. The dialogue is fun. The cinematography is really, really good. And so that's the part where I'm going to stick with, I rarely, if ever, give up with shows. I've given up on like one show.
What was the show?
Ted Lasso.
Why'd you give up?
I just thought it was like too good to be true. And it's just like, I was just like.
You couldn't suspend disbelief.
It was like, I know like Coach Lasso has like personal issues going on, but it was like, everything was like honky dory. And I was just like,
my life sucks and all life has to suck.
Yeah. So that's really like the only show I've given up on.
Fair enough.
I'll probably watch the new season when it comes out, but like I didn't finish the last one, and that's like the only show that's ever happened with for me. But it's gonna be because I think there's so much there with Severance. Like it looks great, it sounds great, the storyline and theories about it are really interesting. That I think it could be like the perfect show if it just happened quicker.
Interesting.
And now I'm in that same boat with like Pluribus. I think it's a great premise.
Yeah,
I love like it echoes, of course, because it's Gilligan of like Breaking Bad with like shooting in the Albuquerque, Santa Fe, New Mexico area. So like it looks beautiful. Once again, like it's a really cool premise. But like I saw a story last week that was like it's taking Gilligan longer to write season 2 than anticipated. I'm like, oh man, are you going to lose me? Because it's going to be 3 years and I'll never get to the end of what this mystery, like the mysterious like DNA alien coding is that's like switching these people and allowed 13 people to not be switched over. And like, it's really, I love the premise, but it's once again, maybe it doesn't need juice. It just needs to happen quicker.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. I think that pacing is a huge thing. And going back to video games, pacing can be a really big problem because, a show is, let's say the show is 10 episodes. That's 10 hours, right? A game can be 40 hours. And, a game is 4 seasons of a TV show. And so the best video games have done a really good job of pacing. And especially when you need to teach someone how to play the game. You don't need to teach someone how to watch a show.
Well, that's where,
and so I do think TV creators should play more video games because game devs have really figured out a lot of these issues and problems on pacing, on how to engage people, on mystery, how much mystery to give versus how to show, not tell, all this stuff. I think Hollywood could learn a lot from games.
Well, that's where I would be fascinated to get your take on a video game and TV show Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout is done well. I saw the first season. I liked it. But
the video game's more engaging than the TV show, right?
It's an interesting take because it's an interesting challenge because the game is an open world game, so really the story is very minimal in the game, and because it's really kind of you're going and making your own experiences. There's a lot of side quests you can do. And there's kind of an overarching story that you don't really care about. So I think that in terms of coming up with a TV show, it was the perfect thing because they could kind of create the story they wanted and use the world that was already created. So they already had this great buffet, if you will, and they just were like, oh, I'm going to put this on the plate and this on the plate. We're going to put this here. And I think that's why it's kind of been so successful. Something like The Last of Us is much more difficult counterintuitively more difficult because The Last of Us 1 and 2, which I see as perfect games, tell a story that is a very difficult story, deals with a lot of big issues, but it tells a story, and that story is pretty specific. And it's much harder. You have a lot less room to maneuver, and you have a lot more fans of the game saying, that's not right, that's different. Whereas like in Fallout, you can't really say that's different or that's not because it's not really, the story is they're making kind of a new story. So all that to say, I think that game adaptations or adaptations of anything are always kind of difficult. But I like Fallout a lot. I also like Last of Us. I just think it's a harder hill to climb there because the game is so specific. But going back to Pluribus and Juice, here's a pitch for you. How about some juice to make Pluribus a little bit better? Add a cartel.
I love it. I'm in. You can't go wrong adding a cartel.
I think you could add a cartel to almost any show or movie and it would improve it. I really do. I mean, first of all, Sicario is great. I love cartel stuff, like in shows and movies and stuff. And I know you love Taylor Sheridan. He loves putting cartels and stuff.
I mean, I'm trying to think of. So I've recently watched the new season of Lincoln Lawyer. Has a cartel.
Great.
The Night Agent has a cartel.
Oh my God.
Landman has a cartel. Mayor of Kingstown has a cartel. Lioness has a cartel. I mean,
you love the CCU, the Cartel Cinematic Universe.
It's an incredible universe, and you're not wrong.
There you go.
There's just
put a cartel in Pluribus.
It's mysterious. Like
it is.
If the cartel was unaffected by the virus, perfect.
There you go.
Why because they make heroin? Are they are no longer able to be switched over?
Yeah, maybe heroin is what stops the Pluribus virus. Who knows? I
love it.
There you go.
I'm in.
Another show that I love that I think we could make better with a little bit of juice, The Pitt. And here's how I would do it. The Pitt is already so intense, right? And every second counts. In The Pitt, every episode takes place in real time. So the whole season takes place over 24 hours or 12 hours. 12, 24? 12.
Okay.
Right?
But it's not like a clocking, it's not like a ticking clock like 24, right?
That's what I think we should add.
Oh.
I think we should add in the corner a ticking clock, right?
Yes.
And it can either count up or it could count down, dude. And then you get, oh my God, there's only X amount of minutes left. What's going to happen in this episode? Chuck Palahniuk, who wrote Fight Club, wrote a book called, I think, Survivor, where the pages, he goes, I die at the end of this book, or I die, whatever, and the pages count down instead of counting up. And it was actually really cool. So I was like, oh my God, I have 100 pages left. Oh my God, I have 80 pages. Oh my God, 20 pages. Oh my God, 3 pages. And it really added a lot.
I mean, I really did like that movie. It's now escaping me the name of it, where you have the amount of time left to live
with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I thought that was a great. And it's like, what do I do? What do I need to do to get more minutes added to my life cycle?
It was a cool you know what would be great? That's a movie that I didn't love, but I love that idea and I love that world, and I think that would make a great TV show. Being in that world where, because dude, right now, I was just about to say, like, capitalism is so hot, but like, everybody is, gas is $1 million a gallon. That everything's expensive. The world's imploding. Climate, the oceans are rising. It's taking years to get a new season of my favorite show, which is really the biggest problem I have. But I think that a TV show set in that world where you're paid in extra minutes of life is so dystopian and dark. And I think it would, and it's so like, insane billionaires, and just, I think it would be and you've got all these guys who are trying to like biohack and life max themselves, and build like these doomsday bunkers. I just feel like a TV show based in the world of In Time, wouldn't that be great? I would watch that in a second, dude. In a second. We're saving Hollywood, dude. This is a brilliant show idea.
You saw Backrooms, right?
I saw Backrooms.
You thought it was pretty good?
I thought it was. I'm going to say this.
Does that movie have juice? And what would you do? Because they're going to make a TV show out of it. What would you do to elevate it?
They're going to make a TV show out of it?
Yeah. I think that's where he wants to go with it.
Why? They made a great YouTube series.
Well, can you just make that into, what's the difference between like YouTube and TV now?
Nothing.
Right. So
I think there's better shit on YouTube. That's the difference.
But like upscale Backrooms for TV for me.
Very quickly, my issue with, did you see Backrooms?
I have not seen it.
It's worth seeing. It's great. Kane Parsons, 20 years old, made this incredible, to make a movie at 20. I was still in diapers at 20. I'm still in diapers now. By choice. It's just easy. Dude, you got to go all the way down the hall to the bathroom.
All right.
Come on.
You have been in the studio for a couple hours.
I carry my bathroom with me, dude. Any place is a bathroom for me.
One way to put it.
But truly an achievement. Everybody's great in it. And I think that what he did in the YouTube series was more powerful because it was point of view. And that, to me, was the whole difference. You are the POV, when it's a first-person POV, and you're stuck in this crazy world, you're wandering around, and you're looking around, that was really scary. The movie starts off like that, and it's very powerful and great. I think it's kind of a hard trick to translate to, now I'm watching someone, right? Okay. Because it's less immediate. It's not me, I'm watching someone else, okay? A little less scary. That's okay, though. There's a lot of scary movies out there. What I didn't really love about Backrooms was the movie was, on the one hand, you could escape it. He can go in and out of it. That, to me, really broke the scariness of it. Because part of what scared me about the Backrooms is, in the original video, this guy kind of no-clips. Do you know what no-clip is? No. It's like in a video game going through the wall or something. Okay. It's two objects merging. He kind of falls through the world and ends up in this weird place. And he doesn't know how he gets in there or how to get out. And that, to me, was really scary. In the movie, he finds a portal he can go in and out of. That kind of deflated it a bit. And then the other thing was, it kind of made it, it explained it a little too much.
Interesting, because that's what... I want more explanation for Pluribus or Severance.
Yeah, and so maybe you would really dig it. But for me, what really killed it was being able to leave. Okay. That kind of, being trapped in the Backrooms to me was the scary part about that. But yeah, kind of explained it a little bit about what it was, which I was like, okay, whatever. Just shout out, everybody should be reading more books. Great, great, great book called Piranesi by Susanna Clark. A little Backrooms-ish in terms of, it's a fantasy book, not a horror book. Beautiful book. I cried at the end. One of my favorite endings of anything ever. But I could see you zoning out. Let's just look at him on YouTube. I caught that on camera. I started talking about a book.
Reading.
I literally, it was so funny. I'm going to do an instant replay of that on YouTube. When I started talking about a book, you did this thing. You did this thing where you were like, your head went down,
don't make me
and you
read.
were like about to fall asleep, and you started to adjust your hat over your eyes. You were like, and it was totally real. That was so funny.
I got it.
Anyway, Piranesi is a great book about a guy trapped in a world, and we don't know where he is or what he is. And the trapped part is what to me was great about that. But Backrooms, it's definitely worth seeing.
Can you juice it up?
You can juice it up. First of all, make him trapped in there. Second of all, first person. Those two things are really gonna help.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's more visceral when you're in the shoes of the thing. I mean, Backrooms did have a lot of juice. I mean, the sound design was great. The set design was really great. You started getting into all these crazy worlds and mishmash. And, I know he designed a lot and filmed a lot of it in Blender, which is like a program to make 3D objects and that stuff. So it has this unreal look, which is really cool.
And I know we've talked about, we both love slow horses. But
yes.
all of the...
lot of juice in slow horses.
Right.
Like Gary Oldman's eating noises.
Body noises.
Yeah. Like every desk is messy. I think another easy way to give shows more juice is great art direction, great set design. And the people who do that do not get enough credit, because really art direction, set design are putting us in those worlds.
And it's such a drastic difference between Slow House and then when they go to like headquarters.
That's
and like
right.
Clean, neat, technologically advanced, and like you're lucky if you have a working phone in Slow House.
That's right. Also, the lighting is fantastic. Like, it's dark and it feels just...
Well, and that's one, and to piggyback on that, Taylor Sheridan, Mayor of Kingstown, the Jeremy Renner show that's on Paramount, the lighting for that show, it takes place in like Western Pennsylvania in a prison town, manufacturing, and they've got this blue tint on everything. It's always gray. Like all the prison shots are amazing. And like, I mean, they're using like what looks like actual prison sets for the show. And so it just adds to what I think is a really fun and interesting storyline, because you've got this like dreary manufacturing coal prison town. And it's like reflected in something as small as like the color choice grading on the video.
Yes, but the small stuff is what matters. Like, and I think what we're kind of coming to, and what we're kind of beating around the bush about, is the devil's in the details. And what makes a great show is the details. And, like going back to my, the original thing we were talking about, my first example that I want to have happen is death metal in Game of Thrones. The show The Nick, Steven Soderbergh, Clive Owen, takes place in like a hospital in like the 20s or 1800s, and uses EDM music. And this weird, different music really adds a lot to the show. And that's really cool.
Interesting, because that makes me immediately think, did you watch Westworld?
I saw the first 2 seasons, yeah.
Because throughout it, they play modern rock music on that saloon piano.
Yes.
And I loved it. Yes. I think it was like, some people are like, wait, so are you playing like Welcome to the Jungle right now? And like the old-timey saloon piano? But like, I thought that was just a really fun... I love that show. I wish it had kept going. Unfortunately, like kind of got lost in the sauce, it feels like.
Yeah.
But that little added element of like, oh, we're playing modern music in the old time saloon piano, I thought was just like a fun cherry on top to like a very ambitious show to begin with.
And I don't know if Jonathan Nolan took that from this game Bioshock Infinite, which came out many years before. Troy Baker, by the way, one of the greatest voice actors of all time, is, Bioshock Infinite is the third in a series of games, of Bioshock games, which, by the way, they should make a Bioshock show because it's great. But Bioshock Infinite is there's moments where these twins are singing. It takes place like in an alternate version of the 20s or 30s in a flying city, right? Like, what if this flying city existed in America? And it turns out it's like, a perfect city, but it's super racist. It's, super classist and all this other stuff. And very early on, you start hearing, like, just like you're saying, songs in old-timey music, but new songs. And it kind of, it really is this nice little, a kind of seeds the ground for what happens later, which is a whole multiverse thing and different versions of the world and different timelines and stuff. But it starts to allude to that with this music very early on. And I was like, that's some juice, dude. That is some great juice. Really, really cool. By the way, another great example of juice in games is like idle animation, when you just let your character and they'll kind of move around or whatever. And one of the cool animations is in Bioshock, part of the thing is you have these tonics and that gives you superpowers. And so one hand will hold your gun or your weapon. The other hand will like be a tonic. And there's one you can get where you just throw bees at people. It's my favorite thing of all time. And I would just scream, the bees, you know. But when you load up that tonic in your hand, part of your hand turns into a beehive. And so every once in a while in the game, you'll just hold your hand up and bees will be crawling all over it. Dude, it's so sick. That game is great. I love that. I love that Westworld playing that other stuff. Those little Easter eggs, man, matter. I also love when, I think a great example of juice that I'd like to see more is when creators put Easter eggs of their shows in other shows. That's really cool. Like to combine universes, you know, or in movies when they do that, like, you know, when they, in the Star Wars, one of the Star Wars movies, you see an E.T. in the Senate. Like, I love that shit. That stuff is juice, baby. Give me that juice.
Yeah, I think I'm very much stuck in the Frozen world right now. And I think during the wedding, there are other Disney characters that come to the coronation. I think there are other characters from Disney that come to the coronation of Elsa.
That's juice. I think, listen, man, in Pluribus, if he doesn't at some point show a pizza on a roof, they've missed the mark.
True.
They got to do that. They got to put a pizza on the roof.
Well, I think you just solved Hollywood.
Solved it and saved it. That's what we do here, man. We save Hollywood. I do think juice is really kind of what makes it great to be a fan. You know, again, Lost was great at juice. When you would see, you know, fans would talk about, oh, you know, this thing, and then they would do it on the show. You know, like, oh, did you see, you know, I wonder if, you know, the Dharma logo is going to be on an animal, and then you would see it on like Shark's Tail, and you're like, they listen, that's juice. Yeah. And we really have the ability now. You know, creators are so spoiled because they have the ability to read what people are saying. And I know that, you know, a lot of creators get upset because, or nervous about looking at comments on the internet. But I think comments on the internet are great. It's amazing. You can interact with people and hear what they say. And generally, I think it's cool that people can voice their opinions on that.
100%.
And on that note, you can leave us a comment on our YouTube videos, including this one on Team Coco's YouTube page. Check it out. And of course, give us a call at any time, 855-266-2604. Let us know what juice you love or you want to see. And once again, check out Juice It or Lose It, that talk on YouTube. It's incredibly cool, whether you like video games or not. Thank you all for listening. For Andrew Gruss and myself, we will see you all next week. Bye!